Well, hello everybody. I did a small test to see if I could do Kurt Cobain and I could do him live, play the music, get the partial block from many countries. But not this time, folks. This time, video completely blocked. The song Heart Shaped Box, written, a lot of people take that, I know from my youth, we all took that as a love song and an angry songwriter talking about a bad relationship. Kurt Cobain went on to allegedly commit suicide. Some people believe he was murdered. There's depression. It even went on to say possibly involvement with his wife. But whether or not any of that's true, the reality is this song written against the man. It's not a love song. Heart-shaped box is the illusion of monetary policy, trapping all of us in this heart-shaped box. Looks good, looks great. We trust our government. We go forward. Next thing you know, within limited year terms, flipping governments, all of a sudden your interest rates spiral out of control. Inflationary kicks in, massive scale. They raise interest rates to fight it, not your wages, because that would increase inflation. Well, if they haven't increased wages, where did the inflation come from? Massive, massive government spending, the illusion of viable jobs, which is only crafted by government borrowing and spending against all of you, Joe Janes. Responsible, paying your bills, your mortgages, only to find interest rates are going to explode out of control. Worse than that will come the massive recession, meaning super high unemployment on the horizon. We've seen presidents like Joe Biden in the past, lunatic prime ministers like Justin Trudeau in the past, always led by the crown, right out of here, Canada. USA's waking up to the reality that they see the socialism vested in the crown rear its ugly head cross-border the United States. Presidents of the past many times follow suit with the objectives of Canadian leaders in full autocracy with no care or thought, none whatsoever to you, the Joe Janes. Kurt Cobain wrote this song absolutely about the cancer he would love to eat away, the New York Stock Exchange, the Federal Reserve, changing interest rates. Read the song, read the lyrics. Kurt was always hard to understand. It was a new age of music. He crafted a new alternative rock format, largely in competition to other rock stars. The governments did not like this song. Those who listen to it, you may think it's a romantic song about a woman and breaking his heart-shaped box. Reality was, it was the genius mind, a song written absolutely about monetary policy, inflation, recession, absolutely destruction of employment. Using the wrong markers, we've seen presidents come and go, Republicans, Democrats fighting monetary policy systems. One president causes the absolute destruction of working Joe Janes through high interest because of awesome, massive government spending, meaning borrowing, creating public debt against all of you. Conservatives and liberals play this game back and forth. The people want change. They get scared. We're going to watch the absolute wipeout of Joe Biden. Mark my words. He's going to be removed as president. Likely a one-term, one-hit wonder. We'll see if the Republicans bring forward a mighty champion, a real smart, credible president that can rein everything in. But it costs. It costs immediately to the population that's usually in unemployment as all those government finance jobs disappear. When governments rein in their spending, it means no more fake economy, no more fake jobs, no more fake employment. It's back to generating real GDP. And that means a whole bunch of fat's got to go, which means a whole bunch of unemployment from the public sector. This is rinse and repeat. We've already suffered in Canada. I can guarantee you, all Canadians, as an economist, your government over the past coming on 6 years has done nothing but fake economics, unsustainable economics, government funded industry that's not real, that will disappear once the taxpayer is no longer on the hook for the unsustainable path the government's taken. They keep borrowing, keep saying we're going to give you more and more and more at more and more cost. So much cost, in fact, inflation is spiraling out of control. To recuperate all the fake money generation, fake employment, people are working, but in jobs that can't be sustained by Canada's losing real GDP, meaning real primary GDP, meaning there's no wealth to sustain those jobs. It is a liberal, leftist, Democrat / NDP, Green New Deal lie. It's not sustainable, folks. You can wait for it. You can watch and wait for it, which is what everybody always does. America will throw Joe Biden's ass right out on the next federal election. Unfortunately, that's more than 2.5 years away. Midterms coming in November, and by February, all new positions will be cemented. You will see the impotence, I promise you that, of Joe Biden and the massive loss of Democrat strongholds in some key states, meaning Republicans will take that over. Now, what federal power are they going to bring forward? They need a tremendous Republican candidate, one that has the knowledge, experience to run in real economics. It's scary because you deal with the public sector unions, you deal with massive left corruption on the radical left side, and you also deal with the far right corruption. We don't want the wealthy oligarchs who want the power to the people. Will that be a narrative and platform for Republicans? It was for the late Richard Nixon. He didn't last. He was terminated. It was for Ronald Reagan. You can look at how he reduced inflation massively from an even higher than today amount. It was 12.8 exiting Jimmy Carter. Americans were so fed up, so utterly devastated. They removed him, and Ronald Reagan worked extremely hard. You can look at the track record. Yes, unemployment rose and then started to go down. Again, it was all public sector. You had people crying in their soup. But again, real wealth, real GDP does not come from the public sector. Sorry, folks. Does it support primary when you have an absolute amount of primary sector? Sure. We don't have that rate anymore today. It is lopsided more than it ever has been in the past. That's just the United States. Canada, tremendously much worse. The amount of fat to be trimmed is huge. And it's not likely, as we watched, Ronald Reagan got into power. Ronald Reagan did all the right things he could, but you watched unemployment go up, and again, that was from the public sector. Primary sector, you watched incremental increases in employment, meaning real wealth creation, exactly what the doctor orders. It's sad, folks. You're going to have extreme interest rate rises. USA well underway in that heart-shaped box to lure so many in. Americans are going to now watch as the massive release of housing, people who bought homes they couldn't afford, too much household debt, trying to pay what has to increase in either A, taxation, which is what Joe Biden will be rolling out next, which again in turn is opposite of employment gains. It's opposite of inflationary restrictions. It increases inflation. USA is much further ahead in inflation than Canada. It's going to continue because the wages haven't been cut. Canada, they're cutting your wages. You're watching unions lose. Unions are corrupted in vast majority. Their leadership funding and empowering NDP that is watching the unions go down the toilet. That's the reality. You're not seeing any major wage increases as costs explode in inflation, meaning you're worth tremendously less and you're about to experience incremental interest rate increases that are going to make 20% of Canadians unable to maintain their mortgages. It means going tits up. I hate to say that, that's real economics. That's what's occurring right now. And it's been done in history time and time again, always by radical Democrat and Liberal spending. It's always been Canada leading and Democrats in the USA going, yeah, that's a terrific idea. But the Constitution of the United States, the power of the people of the United States, including the Supreme Court, keeps American presidents in check. Is it a perfect system? No, but at least they will be reset in 2.5 years. Canada, we could be inside a Trudeau situation for a tremendous amount of years, and only folding up tent when you see that 20% lose their homes, their livelihood, everything they've ever had. This happens in Canada at a rate of 16-1 to the United States of America. Businesses go foreclosed. I know myself, I've experienced it several times. I've had friends go through it here, right here in Canada, out west in Alberta, and only did it all change for them when they went to the United States. Still running those businesses, still holding on to their gains, never ever going through 2-3 bankruptcies like they did in Canada because the government comes along and pulls the rug right from under you. How do you deal with a system that constantly changes the goalposts? Governments that have no love of the people, that constantly disable and destroy the people? The answer is you don't, folks. Not in Canada, not with our very limited autocratic constitution. It's not good news. It's never going to be good news. And it's sad to see that I couldn't even play Kurt Cobain's song, even though I own it. I own all his albums. He was an intricate part of my life, but apparently I'm not allowed to play any songs I own for you at all because Canada says no. And I can see that the USA would likely say no too. Check it out, Kurt Cobain, Heart-Shaped Box. That's what you're all going through, exactly what Kurt outlined all those years ago. You're going to go through again today. We watched Donald Trump reduce absolutely the unemployment rate. Yes, he did tremendous government spending, which is an inflationary marker. Some of what we're seeing in USA can be attributed to that, but at least folks, it was for the growth and strength of the United States of America and to support the primary sector gains, which Donald Trump made many deals on. Deals that Joe Biden ripped up, i.e. a pipeline from Alberta that would have stabilized energy costs. He scrapped it, and then he goes forward saying, we're just going to have to buy more Saudi Arabia oil. Where did he get that idea from? Well, Justin Trudeau, folks. The Trudeau communist regime, everyone tries to accuse me of such things, but look at the truth, look at the history, and that's absolutely the fact and reality of it. Human rights be damned. Everything you're always told is always from the side of those who wish to oppress you the most. You're paying the sanctions for a conflict in Europe you have no direct ties to, only because of presidents just south of us, a prime minister in the UK who has absolute authority constitutionally over the country of Canada. In order for Justin Trudeau, Candice Bergen, which is going to be Pierre Poilievre in the time coming, likely, more than likely, groomed, pedigreed for it, right from the same design as Justin Trudeau and one Stephen Harper. It's all preordained, pre-crafted. There is no power of the people, only destruction, only pure destruction. Always being fooled in that heart-shaped box, thinking of conservatism. There's no real conservatism in Canada. Just look at the mass pile of debts. Conservatism is supposed to be based in physical conservatism, There's no such thing in the Conservative Party. There hasn't been. Hasn't been since one Ralph Klein in Alberta. Before that, you don't see any, except way long before World War II. You're being conned. You're being played. It's always about them taking everything for you. Their priceless advice, as Kurt Cobain says, and then you end up being eaten like a black cancer. Please take it away. Kurt was a genius. He wrote about it. He talked about it. You can look, there's many songs that people get wrong, but that's one song because it's hard to understand his lyrics, and it was a brand new evolution of alternative music, sound never heard before. But Kurt was a genius, and sometimes you wonder, with all the theories out there, who really destroyed him when I couldn't even play that song for Canadians, even though I own it, even though I use it on Facebook. Completely blocked my video, completely shut down. Not to be seen by anybody. Go look it up, check out the truth. There's lots of great artists over the years that, like so many of us trying to tell the truth, painted as a drug addict, a loser, all kinds of things, pervert, sicko. They do it to all of us, any of those, especially if you get a following like Kurt did. Check it out, folks. Bye now.